Hey everybody, Cooper here, and welcome back to another storytime video. And the gameplay footage for this video I recorded while playing Rocket Robot on Wheels for the Nintendo 64, and it was my first time playing the game. I always thought that the game looked pretty cool, and I always wanted to try it out, and this video just gave me an excuse to play it. And the controls were a little weird, but it seems like it could be a pretty cool game. I didn't get too far in it, so I will be giving it another try at some point. So for this video, I'm going to be telling you guys, as you can tell from the title, of course, about how I got started with collecting and making YouTube videos, and then I'll talk about how my collection has progressed over the years and kind of where I'm at now. So, back in, it must have been 2008, I was a senior in high school, and somehow I got the idea in my head that I could find older video games and sell them to a local game store. And I first found the game store because I was cleaning my room, and under my bed I found an NES and a Sega Genesis. I didn't have any cables, controllers, or games with them. It was just the systems. But I looked on Craigslist for a wanted ad, someone who's looking to buy video games, and I saw this local game store, and they did like home pickup. So I called them, and they came over and bought the NES and Genesis for me. Now, of course, it wasn't that much. It was like, $5 or something, but that kind of, ignited something in me, and I thought, where can I find video games? And I thought, Goodwill. So I started going to the local Goodwill, and also Salvation Army and Value Village, and these are all thrift stores, and I would always, I was going there and picking up games and then selling them to that game store, and I never thought, I could sell these on eBay, or I could sell these on Craigslist, or anything like that. I was just picking them up, selling them directly to the game store, and never gave it another thought. And eventually I got a friend to start going with me, and he was basically doing the same thing. And it was just kind of fun to be, to go and hunt for these games and, sell them to the game store and make a little bit of money. And I thought, I can't be the only one that's going to Goodwill and buying video games. And obviously I was right in thinking that. And I did a YouTube search for, like, Goodwill video game finds or something like that. And I came across someone. The channel name was Green January, and he did pick up videos of just stuff from Goodwills. And not only did he pick up video games, but he was also picking up like movies and toys and Disney items and just like a lot of cool stuff. And I watched all of his videos in 2 sittings, I think, and he had like 80 videos at that point, so like 80 pickup videos I watched in a couple days, and I thought it was awesome. And because of him, I started my YouTube channel. And I already had the YouTube channel, but I didn't have like any video game related videos uploaded. I had a couple videos of me playing drums, which I've since deleted. But I didn't start uploading video game related videos until I saw him. And so I did like my first pickup video, and I had to borrow my neighbor's camera because I didn't have one myself. And a lot of my first videos were recorded on my neighbor's camera, and it's horrible quality, horrible lighting, horrible backgrounds, and it was just terrible overall. And I was not comfortable in front of the camera at all. And I'm still, I'm not the kind of person that can get 100% comfortable in front of the camera. I try my best, and I try to make it as interesting as possible, but sometimes my voice just comes out as like monotone and stuff like that. And I know that that happens to a lot of people, but I do think that I have progressed with my on-camera skills, I guess you could call them. But that's basically how I got started. And shortly after that, I started keeping a lot of the stuff that I was finding. So And I guess I started doing that before I uploaded the first pickup video. So when I first started, I was just buying games from Goodwill and selling them to a game store, but then shortly after that, I decided to start keeping some of them, and I was collecting just anything that I didn't have. It didn't matter if it was a loose controller, just a cartridge-only game, a disc-only game even. I was just keeping every single thing that I did not have, and I was collecting for every Nintendo system, every Sega system, every Atari system, every PlayStation, Xbox. I was collecting everything. And I think that a lot of new collectors kind of go through a phase sort of similar to that, where they don't really have a focused goal on what they want to collect, and they just go for everything, and that's what I was doing. And I did that for a while, and eventually did get a few boxed games, and I thought they were really cool. And I got to a point where I wanted to buy a MacBook, and the main reason that I wanted to buy one is because they had the built-in cameras, and they had GarageBand and stuff like that. And I'm a musician too, so GarageBand was really appealing to me, but also the built-in camera because I wanted to make my videos. So I put up a video, and all these older videos are still up on my channel if you guys want to go check them out. I will warn you though, they are pretty terrible. But I uploaded a video where I said that I was selling my whole collection, or getting rid of my whole collection, and I did. And I sold off everything, and I think at this point I was selling to other people locally, like other people who buy games and everything, and other collectors, and on Craigslist, and I don't think that I was selling on eBay at that point. But I sold everything except for the boxed games that I had, and I had like Super Mario 64, Donkey Kong Country 2, you know, my two favorite games. I definitely kept those, and I had a few others, and I was able to buy the MacBook that I wanted. And after I did that, I started collecting again, which was my plan originally. I never planned to, you know, completely stop collecting. I was just going to get rid of what I had in order to purchase the MacBook and then start over, basically. And I didn't really have that much anyway, so it wasn't a huge deal to do that for me. Of course, I would not do that now with as much as I have, but it wasn't a big deal then. And so I was able to get the MacBook, and then I started collecting again, and when I started collecting again, I made the decision to only collect boxed games. No disc only, no cartridge only. So that is where, you know, that whole thing started, and like I said, I kept the complete and box games that I had, which were very few, but after that, I just focused on getting those only, no cartridge-only games. So I was still going around to all the Goodwills and everything, and of course, you know, you see pickup videos, you know, over the years that I've done. Obviously, I've been picking up cartridge-only games, but that's because I do have an eBay store, as, you know, I'm sure most of you guys know, and I do sell a lot of video games, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to, you know, fund my collection by doing this. And, you know, it's cool to not only not have to spend money on my collection, but actually be able to make some profit off of it. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that are gonna say, you know, F resellers, you know, blah blah blah. But what some people don't seem to understand is that there's different kinds of resellers. I'm not really gonna get into that. I will just mention that, like, what a bad reseller is, everybody hates. I hate that, you hate that, we all hate that. The resellers that, you know, don't care about games, they're only in it for the money, they don't collect, they don't play, any of that, those guys are terrible. But collectors who resell doubles and stuff to fund their collection, I think that's perfectly fine. And, you know, when people call me a reseller and, you know, say that I'm doing something wrong, I just kind of laugh at that, because it's just really ridiculous. Every collector has to fund their collection in some way, and what better way than to buy, sell, and trade video games? That's what you're collecting. So, without getting any further into that, over the years my collection has grown, of course, and I've moved twice. Originally, I am from Vancouver, Washington, and that's where, you know, I started my collection and everything. And then I moved to Orlando, Florida in I think it was 2012, the end of September of 2012, right after my birthday, and I shipped my collection to myself, basically, and I didn't have that much. I think it was like 11 large flat rate boxes to get everything here, and of course since then my collection has grown a lot, and most of the stuff that I have I've got since I moved to Florida. And I lived in the apartment that I moved to for 2.5 years, I think, and then at the beginning of this year, 2014, in January, I moved to my new apartment here with my girlfriend, and it's been awesome. The room that I have my collection in, it's basically like the living room / dining room area, but they're connected, and it's much bigger than it was at our last apartment, so that's always cool. And yeah, so over the years I've gotten, of course, more games, more systems, everything boxed. I've gotten a few like custom painted systems, Nintendo Power magazines, tons of promo and display items, kiosks and plushes and light up signs and sealed items, sealed controllers, and just tons of stuff. And I haven't added up my games in a while, but I think right now I'm somewhere over 2,500 different games, and I was over that last time I added up, which was a few months ago at least, so I'm not sure exactly where I'm sitting at, but somewhere around there. So obviously still plenty more games to get, and I'm only collecting for every Nintendo system and PlayStation 2 right now. I used to collect for PlayStation 1 and Xbox as well, but I sold those two collections to fund a trip back to Vancouver to visit my family and friends, and I don't really regret that decision. But I did want to talk a little bit about my future plans for collecting. I figured this would be a good video to talk about that in, kind of just tie everything together. And I graduated from Full Sail University in February of 2014 with a bachelor's degree in game art, and I'm specializing in environment modeling and texturing for video games, so hopefully I'll be able to get a job somewhere in the gaming industry, either gaming or film or simulation, something where I can use that degree. And I'm not sure where exactly my job or my life is going to take me. I could potentially work anywhere in the United States or Canada or anywhere else in the world. There's game studios everywhere. But my plans are, when I'm at the point where I have a good, steady job and I'm making a decent amount of money and I'm able to, like, buy my own house, or, and this is a real long shot, but if I ever have enough money to somehow buy a piece of land and design my own house and have it built, or help in building it myself, which would be awesome. My plan is to have my game room in a basement, and I know that a lot of people will think that that's bad. I know a lot of people have had problems with floods and leaking pipes and stuff like that in their basement, and that's going to be a risk that you take with having your collection anywhere. There's always going to be pipes, there's always going to be potential hazards, and that's why I really would like to design my own house and have it built so that I can have, I can talk with whoever's helping me design it, and have no pipes around where the games are and stuff like that. So that would be very awesome, and I would like to get a big L-shaped room, and I would love to have, custom shelves on most of the walls, and have a big, comfy sectional couch around, the TV area, and have all the systems set up with 2 different TVs. And I would also love to get, like, arcade machines and pinball machines and stuff. And the reason that I haven't bought any arcade games yet is because they're just too big and heavy. I don't really have room for them here, but I've had many opportunities to buy them and have just always passed on them, no matter what the deal was, no matter what the game or the price was. I've always just passed on them. And I can't wait for the day when I have my own place, my own house, not an apartment, my own house, my own dedicated game room, basement, whatever, where I have enough room to have stuff like that, because I think it's awesome. And yeah, so that is a little bit about the history of starting my YouTube channel and starting collecting and kind of my future plans for it. And I don't have any plans of selling off my collection anytime soon. And I'm sure every collector thinks, what if I sold my collection and either put the money into something else or start it over or whatever. And I've had those thoughts, thought about selling my collection, thought about what I would do, thought if I sold my collection I could pay off all my student loans or something, but I don't think I could ever go through with it, at least anytime soon. If in the future I have a wife and kids and, I want to purchase a house and I don't have the means to without selling the collection, that might be something that I would consider, but I even doubt that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and hopefully I can continue to make not only these videos, but just videos in general, and keep you guys informed with my collection progress and stuff like that. I really enjoy communicating with other collectors through YouTube and everything, and showing the new stuff I get and checking out what other people are getting. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay, and that's it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.